In this video, I'll teach you the secret principle for chess improvement. However, it's not about a magic opening or endless puzzle study. What you need is to understand the psychology behind chess improvement. What do I mean by that? I want to follow you a principle. I want you to follow a principle from now on. And this principle is called the 80-20 principle. If you haven't heard about this before, then I'm going to quickly explain it. The 80-20 principle states that 20% of your effort will give you 80% of the results. This is true in life and also in chess. So for example, when you're studying for a test, okay? Like I always used to study one day before the freaking exam, okay? Those were the 20%. And I still got decent grades. It was alright. And then the people who got really, really good grades, they studied a week before, 2 weeks before, and they didn't just do the 20%, they did the 40, 50, 60. They did as much as they could, and then they got really, really good grades. But I got decent grades. I wasn't bad with studying a day before. This is the 80-20 principle. It applies to a lot of areas of life, and so does it in chess. 20% of tasks in chess that you do give you 80% of the entire benefit, what you will see at the end of the day in your ELO. So, now you might be asking yourself, if you understood this, what are the 20% that I can do? Because what I want you to do is now only focus on the 20%. Why? Because, well, if you really want to improve rapidly, then it makes sense to only focus on these 20% because they are actually the ones giving you the actual improvement. If you do the other 80%, that is only giving you 20% of the results, I mean, you can, but it's wasting time, I think. So, the key tasks that you have to do 20% in chess improvement are own game analysis after playing slow chess games. This is definitely part of that task because in this case, you are getting your mistakes. You're realizing, okay, this is what I did wrong and this is what I did right. This is here an opening mistake. Here, okay, I need to learn this line again. Here you can actually understand what you're doing wrong. Own game analysis is definitely part of that. Tactical training. So for example, doing puzzles. I rarely do puzzles on like sites. I always do them from books. But puzzles, tactical training, pattern recognition, that is definitely part of the 20%. And the last point is, plus 20%, is the basic endgame understanding. Especially if you're low rated, endgame training is not that important, but the basic understanding is actually going to give you like 80%. Like if you get what I mean, like basic endgame understanding. Let's say you study endgames. The king and pawn endgame, knowing the king and pawn endgame and the rook endgames. Those are the 20% of the endgames that there are, but they're giving you 80% of the benefit. Why? Because the rook endgames are the most important. King endgames are the second most important. You get what I mean, right? But you could theoretically study even more endgames, like knight endgames, bishop endgames, opposite color bishop endgames, right? You could study more, but the ones that give you the most benefit are king and pawn endgames, and rook and king and pawn endgames. So this is the 20% own game analysis after playing slow games and tactical training. Obviously, the playing slow games is also included in that, but that's kind of obvious. So, what could be the 90% you might be doing that you can from now on just ignore? Memorizing chess lines, deep lines, 20%, 20 moves very deep down. If you're not 2,400 feet there, then why are you doing this? This is complete waste of time, and it could give you some benefit. Some benefit. In some chess game, this line might be on the board, and this will give you some benefit. But again, this is not part of the 20%, right? I hope you understand this concept now. Watching too many random YouTube videos, especially ones that are not educational or just just completely for entertainment. That is a complete. I mean, this can also give you some sort of benefit. Again, all of these things that I'm naming now can give you some sort of benefit, but they are really not the essentials part that will give you 80% of your effort, and this is 80% of your results, and this is what I want you to get. Playing Blitz and Bullet, completely same thing. They're not really helping you in your improvement. Bullet and Blitz, you're not analyzing games, you're not thinking. Studying Grandmaster games, again, can be a great thing to improve, but it's again not giving you that, that like huge jump. Speed puzzle grind, because speed puzzles, especially like 3 minutes, I guess it's helping you in some way, but again, you get my point, right? And joining a chess club or online Discord is the last thing I want to mention. This can also be a benefit for you. I did this. But if you really just want to improve, focus on game analysis after a game, tactical training, and basic endgame understanding. If you get this right, you will improve, right? This is what I want you to get out of this video. And try to understand the 80-20 principle, apply it to chess. And by the way, you can apply it to everything else in life. I mean, whatever you're doing, whether it's school, work, whatever, 80-20 principle is a good thing to know. Yeah, but I hope you could understand what I was trying to get across. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button right now, and I see you in the next video.